Okay, this one's going to be a story about me. I'm a little bit lost. Never thought I'd be here. 2,500 Ks. 5 years of trying to work out where I am and what's going on, what's eventuated, what's happened. There's no sense to it. I've never worked it out.
Brad was a very competent rider. He was, talented up there.
For a guy his size, he was really good at it. He just had the brain for it, for racing and knowing where to be on the track.
He's been around since day one, as far as I'm concerned.
Fishing has always been a very, very big part of my life from when we were kids. My pop had a big yacht and he actually made Brad and I a little fiberglass rowboat. We lived just near a creek when we were younger. So we had a little fiberglass rowboat to row and go fishing. But even before that I was fishing. It was the one thing I could rely on. All I needed was my bait, my rod and my brain, and that was it. Since then, fishing has not stopped. It has always been a part of my life. The more I fish, the more I enjoy it, and now it's starting to get serious. Last time Brad and I were down in the Tully River, we managed to hook a fish, and when we hooked this fish, I was shocked. It was white. These fish are normally dark. So we fought this fish to the bank, and it was actually, we didn't know, we sort of realised at the time it was an albino fish. So we took some pictures of that and they went up on Facebook. And a little while ago I got a message off a bloke, very, very smart man, Jason from Jardini. He's one of Australia's freshwater fish breeding experts, and he asked Brad and I if we would like to be the first ones to be on his licence to catch these colour morph fish for his breeding program. Very, very rare fish. Only probably 1 in 100 have these colour morph on them. So since we've been up here, I've actually managed to get a couple of fish down to Jason live, which is a big thing because it's very hard to transport live Australian freshwater fish. But Jason's put me on the licence, so it's made it quite a lot easier. I'm allowed to live transport. So now we have some of our fish from up here in Jason's breeding program. Right, these are some of the fish I caught yesterday. It was a great day out with my brother fishing. These ones are actually called colour morph sooties. They've got some white spots on them, and oh, that one back in. Let's grab one of the other little ones. Come here. There we go, they're a pretty rare fish. We've got another one in here, but he pulled up a little bit sore last night, so I'm not going to get him up and handling. But yeah, we had a great day fishing yesterday. Got some really good fish, good jungle perch. Luxury in the spa bath they get. But they have a fish up here called a barramundi, and I've been searching for this fish for a long time.
I know they're still out there, Carl.
Come on. You just swam that straight back into the sticks then?
off it.
Yep.
You bastard! That snapped me off.
Yeah, it would be horrifying seeing a big croc come up this bank, wouldn't it?
Yep. Yes, it would be fun.
I think I'll be walking across that water behind us.
It's all the things you got to watch for when you're up here. Stand back from the bank a lot. That's it, the last mud cod. See Carl, you've got to be on the... I just turned around for a second. Hard to hold on to? Oh yeah.
So how do you stop something like that?
Big fishing line and big rods going on. We know they're out here and we know they're big. We just don't know how to catch them now. Wrong baits. That kills me. Just be snapped off that easy.
So Brad's place in the scene, he had a lot of influence in the race scene.
Brad was very respected in the Street Luge community. He had time to teach new riders new skills and just be a general helping hand to up and coming riders, and wasn't afraid to let them beat him. If they were better than him, it wasn't a problem. The training days was a great outlet for him to help new riders and really get to know the basics, because he came from a skating background straight into a street luge scene. He didn't really transition through the basics of street luge. It was straight into speed, straight into ability, and didn't really go back to basics before becoming proficient on the street luge. He was already proficient. As soon as he built one, he was straight into it.
On the road, the amount of corners, how large wheels you want, and the size of the wheels. If you've got a big long straight, someone all like me will come out of a corner with no body weight and I'll accelerate really fast, but by the end of the time the straight comes in, like they can vary a lot of wheels when we go. Vary of sizes, vary of geometers, depending on the road surface, different traction levels, and how fast you want to go at the bottom of the straight compared to around the corner.
I actually taught Sue how to street luge as well, right from the beginning. She was someone that just contacted us on Facebook and wanted to get involved in the sport right at a roots grass level. So we took her out to a small hill and chucked her on one of our own boards, talked her through a few basics and let her have a bit of a ride.
Brad cleaned me out of birthday candles, crepe paper, wrapping paper, little volatile candles, and he bought more when he was down there, all for Sue for her birthday. He said she made his birthday so special and he wanted to make hers more special. So in the motel room, he put her all the candles around, rose petals, a little cake. He bought her a little heart. It was lovely. It was so lovely to see. I didn't see it, but as a mum, you imagine. And that happened in Adelaide. And it was lovely. The gleam in Bradley's eye, the smile on his face was worth anything. He was so in love with Sue.
Sue and I had a long distance relationship. Now when I'd say long distance, she was living in Brisbane at the time. I was in Newcastle. I'd just left my carpet laying business and I was no longer Bradley Sterritt Carpet Laying, Proprietary Limited. I packed that all up and I went and worked for a fiberglass company in the mining industry. Sue had 4 internet companies. They were on 4 different continents: England, America, Australia, and in Europe So she was doing a lot of travelling overseas and things, and backwards and forwards to Brisbane, which meant that with my work every weekend, I'd either travel to Brisbane, jump on a plane Friday night and fly up and stay till Sunday night, or if she was in the area, she'd stop into my place and she would come down. Being my place was in Curry and it was out the bush, it was fairly hard to get to. And so they were always very planned weekends.
Eventually, they decided they would move, or Bradley decided he would move to Brisbane with Sue. And he sold the house, cleaned up all the garage and all the stuff, stored stuff. Sue came down on the Saturday. She stayed the night, and then her and Brad took off early the next morning for their little honeymoon up to Brisbane. And they stopped on the way, did some fishing, of course, little skateboarding, of course. They got up there on the Sunday.
It was something she asked from the start, but it was something I wanted to make sure was right before I did it. And it was right, it felt right. So I made that choice and I moved. I hadn't told any of my friends that I was moving up. It was going to be a big surprise for everybody. A lot of the Street Luge community, because I was in Brisbane's Street Luge Club at the time and living in Newcastle, a lot of the Street Lugers had no idea that I was moving to Brisbane. We had next week planned, so I was going to start looking for work. She was going to go to work, and every night we'd spend together, and next weekend was the start of our new lives. After the week's work was done, and we'd been talking every night of that week and catching up, I had no idea on the Saturday morning she had all the Street Luge riders were going to turn up at Mount Coo-tha, and she hadn't told them that I still was there yet. It was going to be a big surprise when I turned up in that morning. All the Street Lugers were going to realise that I'd moved to Brisbane. I was now living with Sue, and I was going to be more of a part of the team, more a part of everybody's life, because I was actually there with them full time.
Yeah, the relationship was very new, and being a long-distance relationship, it was difficult, of course, for Brad. He used to trip up here and have the occasional weekend. She'd trip down to Newcastle and catch up with him from time to time. Then it came time for him to transition out of Newcastle to Brisbane, and that was a major upheaval in his life, I would imagine, but he did have time to prepare for it. He moved up to Brisbane, and not 2 weeks later, Sue was dead. So I'm going to have to stop the interview for a sec.
During the week, Sue Wickenden was a member of the corporate world as CEO of iSmart Software. But in her spare time, she indulged in her passion, street luging. This morning, it claimed her life.
And it really is a freak accident.
She suffered head injuries even though she was wearing full protective clothing, helmet, leathers and shoes. The 50-year-old took up the extreme sport 3 years ago, writing on a website that it kept her young. I could allow age to take me gently by the hand and slide into a little plumpness, or I could fight back, kicking and screaming to stay fit into old age. She was the fastest woman on the classic and loved the adrenaline rush it gave.
It wasn't a case of going too fast and out of control. It's just a bad line. A bad line. shaken up. Her partner is devastated, as we all are.
Sue was rolling down Mount Coo-tha with a group of friends when she took one of the corners wide. She struck the guardrail and went under it.
We are very tight, we are like a family. So something like this is devastating. 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 We are like a family. We are like a family. We are like a family.
Sue Wickenden's partner was rolling with her this morning. She died in his arms. She died in his arms. In his arms. In his arms.
The day of the accident was absolutely shattering. I was actually the first person that he spoke to that morning. Hardest phone call I've ever had to take in my life, bar none. I just didn't know what to do, completely shattered, just turned Brad's life upside down. And I was actually at one of my friend's places and the phone rang. I thought, oh cool, Brad's ringing. But it wasn't quite the phone call I wanted to hear. But I'm glad I was there for Brad to answer that phone call.
I still remember that morning. It's probably the only most vivid memory I have of the last 5 years is that morning. It must have been 6 o'clock. And I remember Sue grabbing me by the ankles and start ripping me out the end of the bed. And she said, we've got to go. We're getting ready. Get all your stuff ready. We go up the hill to see everybody. I sort of said to her, look, it's the first weekend we've had together, nice and quiet. How about we just stay in bed for the day? She said, no, we can't do that. I knew Sue. She'd organised something. If something was organised, it was getting done.
The Luge Club, the Brisbane Luge Club, were having a ride on the Sunday morning early. As you know, a van starts at the bottom of the hill, blocking the road. There is a van at the top of the hill blocking the road. And that van at the top follows the last riders down.
I think I had around about 10, 15 people waiting up there for me. Everybody was happy. It was an unbelievable day. It was the start of a new life.
They'd already had a ride at Mount Coo-tha, and Brad said that was enough. But no, Sue wanted to go over to this other mountain that they hadn't rode before, hadn't even drive down it, and they went over there. So Brad said to Sue, look, we've had a good ride. We'll just take it easy. So they just were the last two to go down the mountain. Brad told her, just take it slow. So they got to a corner, and it was like a hairpin corner. And Brad said he could see by the line that she wasn't going to make it. And next minute she went under the guardrail. Board Sue under the guardrail.
Yeah, it really gutted my mother. To see Bradley have his happiness taken away, absolutely shattering. Took her a long time to get over it. Yeah, she really liked Sue, and Sue was coming to our place, and they were really getting along well, so it was very, very hard for all involved.
So he's saying to her, roll off your board, Sue. Roll off your board. And he said he could see it's getting closer to the guardrail, and he was screaming at her, roll off your board. Roll off your board. Roll off your board.
Yeah, it turned Brad's life completely upside down. He didn't know what to do, which direction to go in. He hadn't been up there for long before this happened, and it actually turned the whole Street Luge community on its head too. People were throwing their leathers in the bin at the bottom of the hill. Said he didn't want to race anymore. Said he didn't want to race anymore. Said he didn't want to race anymore. Thousands and thousands of miles away. All I wanted to do was give my brother a hug, and at the time I couldn't do it, so that was very, very hard for me. All I wanted to do was give my brother a hug. All I wanted to do was give my brother a hug. A story that some would say divide our land into. Take our freedom away. Take our freedom away. Take our freedom away. Take our freedom away. Take our freedom away.
This is some of my photos and memorabilia of Sue. I always keep it up here to remind me of her. This is the board she was riding, her favourite board and her only board actually. It was made by a friend of mine. Cross-laminated timbers, all Australian timbers and that. And it's a beautiful deck. This is the one she was riding when she had the accident. So it stays pride of place up on my wall. I've only ridden the thing once. I just wanted to make sure the board was alright, make sure there was nothing wrong with it. That's why the accident happened. But the board went fine on Mount Stewart. So I rode it one more time and that was it. And I hung it on the wall, and for here it's going to stay in memory. It's a one-off board, it's the way it'll always be treated. And of course I'll never ever get rid of this thing. I never changed one bit of it. It's still exactly the same as the day she rode it. And there's some of the photos up there on the wall of Sue. Some of them are actually of the day of the accident. They're all around the time, the week, months just before the accident happened.
And he sounded all calm and lovely and good, but I know he still hasn't accepted Sue's death.
I've been waiting for that phone call about my brother.
It's a game changer when, you know, things in your life are taken away from you and you can't get them back.
It's tried so hard to not look down. The bush was up, not to hit the ground. Final touch, the touch was more. The question is how this is true.